For all you groundhoppers out there, this podcast is for you. This is the FANA Fan Podcast, and I'm Topliss. And for all you groundhoppers out there, this podcast is for you. Tonight, we're joined by fellow groundhopper and Sheffield United fan. Real name's Chris, but you all know him as the Turnip Blade. How are you, Chris, mate?
Yeah, not bad. You?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, mate. Good to have you on. It's been a long time coming. So, Chris Bingham from Sheffield. How did it all start, mate? How did you get into football?
I went to my first game when I went with my dad and my granddad. I'd have been about, I'm trying to work out, probably about 9 years old. Went to see United. Back then, it was three-sided ground when I first went. They were building the John Street stand at Bramall Lane. And yeah, I went to a few games, used to get free tickets from school, that sort of thing. But I started regularly going to Sheffield United in about 1999. Season ticket holder in 2002, and I pretty much had one ever since. And yeah, that's my love of Sheffield United.
Since 2002, so you've seen some famous moments. So when was the very first game you went to? Obviously, because I had no idea the stand had not been built at that point. What's the family stand, is it now, I believe?
Yeah. So yeah, I've got it down as 94. They played Reading, drew 1-1. And yeah, they were just building that stand, the family stand. So back when I went, I was sat on the opposite stand, what's now the Tony Curry stand. So it was a building site the other side. I can't remember when they finally finished building it, but yeah.
Wow. So some famous moments at Sheffield United, I'm sure you've seen over the years. I mean, 2002. I mean, that was the year when the famous abandoned game against West Brom.
That might have been before 2002, possibly. That was a weird game because nobody actually knew what was happening. Like at the end of the game, when they abandoned it, like lots of people were just like, "Well, what's going on here? What's happened here?" And obviously, we know a lot had gone off because there'd been 3 red cards at the time, and a lot of players being removed from the pitch, and it took a while for somebody in the image to say, like, look, they've not got enough players, they've abandoned the game. But yeah, it's an obscure situation, and especially when you look back on it now, because I think it was on Twitter the other day that it was George Santos who was the player who got sent off for the really dirty 2-footed foul. When you look back at it and listen to stories about it, there was some beef between him and the player he did it on. Prior to that, and like he nearly ended George Santos' career. So it was just interesting to look back at it. It wasn't just a one-off event, I suppose. Things have built up to it. Yeah,
because I think there's been a collision between them both. I think Andy Johnson might have been playing for somebody else at the time. Might have been Forest, I think it was. I think I think it might have been accidental. I'm not sure. I don't think Santos obviously saw it that way. But yeah, his eye socket had literally hanging off, apparently.
Yeah, he might not have been able to see, and he was like, he was in hospital in France sorting it out. And I've listened to a podcast about it, and then he subsequently, first opportunity, and I think he was on the pitch about the grand total about 30 seconds before he got sent off.
Yeah, it was a wild challenge, wasn't it? I mean, what are you thinking in the stand after seeing that?
I mean, you can't really defend it, can you? It's like it's a red card, fair cop.
Wow, and then obviously 2 injuries, weren't it? In the end, it was Michael Brown. I think it was Olathorn, I believe.
Yeah.
Went down injured.
Yeah, because the first red card was for goalkeeper out of Tracy outside the box, and then Suffo got done for red card for getting involved in a scrap after the Santos incident. There were lots of players going down injured, and I think there was rumours that Warnock were telling them to fake injury so that then they didn't have to play. So I think Keith Curl was one of those players that they eventually got injured to take it down to 3 few men.
Absolutely. I mean, Gary Megson certainly wasn't happy, if you remember. If you remember that famous quote, next time we're 2-0 down, I'll bring 3 players on and bring 8 off and we'll play it again.
Yeah, but I mean, Megson's not generally liked in the red and white half of our city anyway, due to his exploits through Wednesday. So
absolutely, yeah. So let's try and do the Blades timeline. Try to think of some famous moments. I'm sure you've been to a lot of Steel City derbies.
Yeah. Some fondly remembered, some not so. Sadly, I've never seen us win at Hillsborough, but I've seen us win plenty of times at the Lane.
Yeah. Do you have any favourite moments from the Steel City derby?
I remember the 2002-3 season. We beat them 3-1 at the Lane. We went 1-0 down, and then we scored 3. And Michael Brown scored a real screamer that season.
I remember that one.
I
remember the highlights, like Kevin Pressman in goal for Wednesday was having an absolute stormer, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, that's about every time we played them, he was like a thorn in our side. We couldn't put it past him. So yeah, we're glad when he retired because at least give us a chance.
Fair play, you've got to have something, haven't you? And then obviously you did score, and that Michael Brown goal. What was your thoughts when that went in? How did you react to that one?
Oh, it was great. It was mental because I took a mate with me who was a Wednesday fan, and he sat next to me in the United and keeping him quiet. And then when that went, I was just like proper in his face, turning around in his face. It's like, oh yeah, so like, come on, you got to celebrate this one, mate.
So that one obviously a famous one that people talk about. What years did you go to Hillsborough then? I can remember obviously the year that you both went up. I think that was Gary Megson's last game, wasn't it? Wednesday, you lost 1-0 in 2012, I think, and obviously they went on to go up, and then that famous Simonson penalty cost you that year, weren't it?
Yeah.
Any of the times you've been to Hillsborough?
I know most of the ones I've been to have ended up in draws. I know that the 3 recent victories that we've had over them, I've not been at, although I did watch one at a beanback at Bramall Lane. So the ones I went to at Hillsborough, as I remember the atmosphere, and they were all mainly draws.
Fair play. At least you didn't lose. I'm sure losing a Steel City derby is never the best of feelings, is
it? No.
So carrying the timeline. So later that season, Sheffield United are in the playoffs. You've got Nottingham Forest.
Oh yeah, that was really epic game, that because we were down from the first leg, I think, or we're at, I can't even remember the first leg. A draw at the City Ground, and then we played them in that semi-final in the second leg at Bramall Lane. It was just a real that season had been a season of really good like midweek night games. Like we got to both cup semi-finals that season, and we'd had really big victories against teams big. We beat Leeds twice that season, so it was a memorable season for nights at the Lane. And I remember Pesky Salido scoring in that game and running over to stand and running around going, oh my god, I've scored, like he did this like weird celebration. And I think Des Walker scored an own goal, if I remember correctly, which again, former Wednesday player, went down well.
Because I remember you're 2-0 down. You're pretty much bang out of it, aren't you, really?
Yeah.
At that point. And then you come back and wow.
And then the odd situation is that obviously we had a very similar situation in the playoffs this year against Forest, though, that came back in that one. So sadly didn't win the penalty shootout.
As we say in football, it evens itself out in the end. So Sheffield United are through. You've got Wolves at Cardiff at the Millennium Stadium.
Yeah, I think it was. People describe it one game too far. That I think we'd had 2 big cup runs. We'd had the league season that had been really successful. We get to that playoff final, and back then, like Wolves had a really good team. They had like Dennis Irwin playing for them. Ince, like just quality players that were Premier League staples. You know what I mean? That they might have been a bit past their Premier League days, but it was one match too far. Got beat 3-0, and it was like a season where it's such an exciting season, but at the end of it, achieved nothing in terms of promotion or winning anything.
Yeah. Just before I move on to the next bit of the timeline that I've got for you, what was it like at the Cardiff ground, the Millennium Stadium? Because I've missed it, unfortunately. I don't know if I'll have a chance to watch football there, but what was your thoughts on the ground?
It was the first time I think I'd been to a significantly large stadium. Oh no, I'd been to Old Trafford in the Cup semi-final earlier in the season.
Yeah.
But to go down to Wales, it's the furthest I've travelled for a game, and just the atmosphere. It's such a vast stadium, and because it's the tiers on top of each other, you feel a lot closer to the pitch.
Yeah.
I suspect that stadium for a rugby game particularly would be mental.
Yeah, you're a big fan of it.
Yeah, it's a really good. Subsequently, I've done the stadium tour there, and it's just like learning about the history of because the main stand was part of the old stadium, Cardiff Arms Park, I think.
Yeah.
And they turned the stand around, so that stand forms part of the Millennium Stadium, or it's called Principality now, isn't it, for sponsorship purposes? So it's a nice ground to watch football in.
Yeah, hopefully I'll get the chance one day. But now that you just mentioned it, the FA Cup semi-final. So you're 1-0 down. I think you have a corner. It's on the goal mouth.
I was sat right behind that. I was sat on the bottom tier on the Stretford end, and I was sat right behind Seaman's hand when he made that save.
What were your thoughts going through your head at that point?
Oh, it was like, where's that come from, that save? It was just like, we were all like up, we thought we were going in that, and then oh dear, yeah, that must have been the best save I think I've seen at a football match. I can't think of.
I think personally it's the best save ever. I just don't see how he could, at nearly 40 years old. He retired the season after, didn't he?
Yeah.
To pull that out of the bag.
Like, it's just a shame he did it against my club, wasn't it?
It is, mate. But hey ho, a good team Arsenal were at the time, and to be fair, being 1-0, very respectable when you probably should have scored.
Yeah, like I said, it was a season where us as a Championship club, or old Division 1 as it was back then, to like that season we beat Sunderland, who were in the Premier League. We beat Leeds twice in the Premier League. They were in the Champions League back then, I think. We beat Liverpool in one leg and then lost the second leg. We held Arsenal. Like, we'd had a really, really good season that season, and they were good. Like, if you ask Sheffield United fans now what's their most favourite season, I imagine many particularly my sort of age or older, might say that season. Although more recent promotions might be on more younger fans' minds.
Fair enough. Very good point. So, you lost in the playoff final that year. 3 years later, though, 2006, Sheffield United are promoted to the Premier League. What was that like? What were your thoughts at the time under Neil Warnock? He finally achieved it after the documentary the year before.
It was a great time to be a Blade. It was nice for me. The little things about getting to the Premier League. So, like, even though I was a bit older, I always used to collect the Premier League stickers and stuff like that. And obviously, Sheffield United were never on the Premier League stickers when I was a kid. That was the thing I was most excited about, being in the Premier League. In fact, I bought all the stickers that season, even though I was I was probably in my 20s back then. It was just nice, like, see Blades against all the big teams. Like, I'd not experienced that, you know what I mean? Other than the games in the cup and that sort of things, I'd not experienced, like, each week it's like, oh, we're going to see Man United come to the lane, we're going to see Arsenal, and we give them a good run for their money. But we beat Arsenal that season, and we had some good games.
Very good games. I remember Liverpool first game of the season. I was starting secondary school. I thought, we're going to absolutely batter Sheffield United. We drew 1-1. Couldn't believe it. But I thought they played really well. I thought on the day, that penalty was lucky on our behalf. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was a sign of things. I think the sad thing was that Rob Hulse, who scored that goal on the day, got injured partway through that season, and he was our main goal threat. And I think if he hadn't ever got injured, we'd have possibly done enough to stop up.
Well, I mean, looking back on that penalty given, if that hadn't been given, that probably would have kept you up. How close it was.
Yeah.
So, all the way through the season, like I say, you beat Arsenal, gave Liverpool a good game, but it's the last day and you're playing against Wigan, who need all 3 points, but you need a point. And West Ham are going away to Old Trafford. So what was your feelings before the game, would you say?
I think, like, looking at it, like, I'm a mathematician. I'm a maths teacher in my job, and you look at it, and you look at like the probability of us going down was fairly minimal. But you'd never know what's going to happen last day of season. Like West Ham winning away at Man United, it weren't going to happen. So, and us against Wigan, who weren't in great form. Like we needed one or the other to happen, and neither happened for us. And there was so much in that game against Wigan where we had a shot on target that just bounced off the post and went the wrong way, and like just one little thing turned for us, and we'd have been up. And David Unsworth scored the penalty, who had played for us the previous season. Yeah, very sad day.
Yeah, it was just anything that could go wrong did go wrong in the end, unfortunately, didn't it? Really.
Yeah.
And then obviously Warnock did Warnock lose his job that summer?
I think he left. I think he left of his own accord.
Resigned. Yeah.
Yeah.
End of an era.
Yeah, and then quite many years after. Yeah, I mean the guys have played, and I'm sure everyone's seen the videos of Warnock getting a bit angry in the dressing room, and but the guy loves Sheffield United, and it was his dream to get us to Premier League. And sadly, after getting us to Premier League, he talked about retiring, but clearly he didn't, because he went and managed another probably 6-7 clubs
for years to come as well. For years and years to come. So 2007, 2008, not really much happening. 2009, you're going to Wembley to face Burnley in the playoff final. What's going through your head?
That was good. Yeah, it was a good season, but like we've been fairly dominant throughout the season. I can't remember where we finished in the league, but yeah, again we've been so unlucky in playoff finals. So even at that stage, we'd lost in '97 to Palace. We'd lost 2003 to Wolves. So we went in going our playoffs like very reluctant, and as the case was, yeah, we did lose, but it was our first trip to Wembley though, new Wembley. So
what did you think to the new Wembley at the time?
Oh, it was probably, at the time, it's the most impressive ground I'd visited. Just I was sat on top tier, and just the view when you come out the gangway, you just have a look out, and it's like, wow, just look at that. It's really impressive, isn't it?
Absolutely. I prefer the top tier, I've got to say, to the bottom, just for the view. It's much better. So unfortunately, Burnley won, Sheffield United 0. A good goal from Wade Elliott. Sheffield United have got to fight another day. During that time, though, a couple of years later, you go down to League One. And then 2012, Ched Evans doing really well, getting the goals for you. He's been sent down, so you can't have him. Obviously, the last game against Wednesday that we've touched on, where he lost 1-0. You're in the playoff final, though, again. Your thoughts stay the same against Huddersfield?
Even more so. I think there are lots of Sheffield United fans that refuse to even buy tickets because they're like, oh, not Wembley again, not playoff final. We'll probably lose again. And turns out we did. But yeah, that one took lots of penalties. Because, yeah, that was 0-0. And then, yeah, it took Steve Simonson, our goalkeeper, missing his penalty to lose that penalty shootout to Huddersfield. Christ, that penalty, like he's hit so high, I'm surprised it's not. It might still not have landed even now.
Yeah, I know it was a shocking penalty, but I mean, in the end, it was a poor shootout. Full stop. I mean, I think Huddersfield missed the first 3.
They did, yeah, and even then, it's like, well, you'd like to think if they've missed the first 3 penalties, you're going to win that, aren't you? But
yeah, but again, Sheffield United unfortunately just as bad in the end. So as Sheffield Wednesday went up that year, automatically Sheffield United didn't join them.
Yeah,
and didn't join them for quite a while. I mean, what was it like in League One? Obviously, Cloughie, you had a spell with Nigel Clough. What do you think of him?
He was actually, I thought he was probably one of the better managers we had at the time. Like, he got, it was under Clough. We got to the FA Cup semi-final and played Hull in the FA Cup semi-final. And we gave it a good go, actually. At half-time, we were winning and could have got to a cup final. But, yeah, of the managers we had during that time in League One, yeah, he was probably one of the better. Because we had, who did we have in that? We had David Weir. He was dreadful.
Adkins.
Adkins, yeah, wasn't up to much. Danny Wilson for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had a spell of like between Warnock and Wilder, we had some real dross managers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've all had them. Every club's had them.
Yeah.
So 2016, still in League One. Chris Wilder's been appointed. Done really well with Northampton. Former Blade. What did you think of that appointment?
I think there was a lot of sentiment to him being there. A lot of sentiment that people knew he was a Blades fan. They knew he'd played for the club, and they'd seen the success he'd had at various other clubs lower down the league system. So I think people were willing to give him time because his first few games were awful, and it was like, oh, not another one. But turns out, it was a really successful era.
It was indeed. I can remember at that time I just finished uni and I started going to Bramall Lane a little bit because somewhat I was a bit bored on a weekday and a bit on a Saturday sometimes. And the first game I went to was the Southend game. 3-0 down after about 15 minutes. Thinking, what on earth? I mean, were you there for that game?
Probably, yeah. I imagine so.
Yeah, I mean that was poor. I'm thinking, how are they going to get up from this?
Well, I think he went through a process of obviously bringing out his formation and his tactics, and then finding the right players to fill those roles. And it took him a few seasons to do it, but he essentially filled those roles with the right sort of players to do that. And those players are the players that followed us all the way from League One up to the Premier League. So your John Flex, your Chris Bashams, Billy Sharp, those players, and even the ones that left us. Paul Coots, for example, was a good example of a player. Kieran Freeman, players that did well for us in League One and the Championship that fit that Chris Wilder formation and tactic.
Absolutely. But after that game, 100 points later, Sheffield United are promoted back to the Championship. How did that feel? First time I'm asking under Chris Wilder.
Oh yeah, it was a great season that because I don't remember a season where we were like topping a league. We've always been like chasing promotion, but we've never like dominated the league. And I think that season we did. And I remember that when we got promoted down in Northampton, like I wasn't there. That was like a big day. But they were all in Northampton. I was at the ice hockey playoff finals in Nottingham, and I remember following the bus back. They were coming back from Northampton. I was driving up the motorway, and it's a Sheffield United bus. I could see Billy Sharp on the bus getting there, a little bit tipsy and wild on the bus. But yeah, I think it was great. Just a great time to be a Blade. I think it had been like that all those seasons in League One for a club that you shouldn't say we're too big for League One. Nobody should like. If you're in League One, you're in League One for a reason because you've performed that way. But I felt like it was the turning point. I think.
Yeah. The turning point it was. So first season back in the Championship after 6 years nearly. September, the first Steel City derby in 6 years nearly.
Yeah.
At Hillsborough. What were your thoughts before that one? Were you nervous, excited?
I think I was nervous. I think Wednesday fans were going into it quite confident because they'd been in Championship for a few years. They obviously claimed to be the bigger club. It was away from home. Yeah. And Hillsborough, it's not a pleasant place to go as a Blades fan. Like I imagine it's the same the other way around. Like going as an away fan to a derby, it's a cruel atmosphere. And yeah, I was hopeful of a draw.
Okay. So where did you watch this game?
Oh, I watched it on TV at home.
And you tell me how you felt watching it all the way through.
Oh, it's good because Flex scored a free kick fairly early, lovely free kick, and it was like, oh, that settled me down a bit. Then Leon Clark scored, and And obviously that went down quite well because he's former Wednesday player.
Yeah.
So 2-0 up, feeling comfortable. Then when they brought 2 back, and it's like, oh, it's typical United throwing it away. Yeah. But then that brief spell, the Sheffield Wednesday fans bouncing, and then Duffy scoring that goal. I think I've got a friend who's a Sheffield United fan who he watches that video on a daily basis. Like when you're feeling a little bit sad, he'll just watch the Duffy video, just watch it, the Wednesday fans bouncing, and then they all stop bouncing. Yeah. And then to score another after, 4-2 after not playing them for years. Yeah. You asked many Blade fans. If any Blade fans were there, that was probably their favourite match of all time.
Unbelievable. I can remember I watched it at the nursery tab with my mate who I knew from uni. He's Man United fan, but I thought we've got to see it, mate. It's our first Steel City derby since we've moved there because it had not happened in so long. So we went to Nursery Tavern. Most of Sheffield United fans, obviously, with the area in the city. Big cheers. But when Duffy's goal went in, I kept saying it was like an England goal at a World Cup. There were plastic glasses flying everywhere. It was absolutely incredible. And even I thought, when's he going to win this at 2-2? And then that happened. And I was like, wow. And then they sealed the deal. And I can remember that the next Steel City derby later, it was in January, weren't it? I just got back from work and I was walking past, the clubhouse on London Road.
Yeah.
And they had the game on, the highlights of the Hillsborough game. I remember just walking past it and it was just kicking off from 2-2. And the Sheffield United fans were like, ooh, all the way up to the Duffy's goal because it was that quick.
Yeah.
What a moment that was.
They've started putting it on like they play like videos before matches at the Lane this season or last season. And they'd have like compilations of famous Sheffield United moments. And they'd always put that on. Everyone did the similar sort of thing. Everyone's like, oh, because they know what's coming.
Absolutely amazing. I mean, it was a great start for Sheffield United that season, but they had a poor run during the winter months, didn't they? And they ended up missing out on possible playoffs. But then the season... Yeah, sorry, mate.
I was going to say, for first season back in the Championship, it was a reasonable, I think it finished about 9th, 10th in league, I think.
Yep, absolutely. Great season, in all fairness, after what some fans were predicting. But season after, some very good results. It's looking like Sheffield United could go up automatically. But we're in March, and you've got another team who's looking to go up automatically. Leeds at Ellen Road. Did you go to this game?
I did not know. Again, couldn't get a ticket. I'm in that priority level of tickets just below the hardcore fans that go to all the away games. So I sometimes get away tickets, but if they're a big game, I'm usually in that next level of priority. But that game again, watched it at home when Basham scored that goal. Basham's arriving, as it's called. It was like, because again, it's one way you're worried. We've not played Leeds that often. I think now I'm getting mixed up with something else. And it's funny when you watch. But I watched the Amazon documentary about Leeds, and it made out Sheffield United to be like the pantomime villain in that. It was great. I enjoyed it.
I watched that game in Clubhouse. And that, I'll tell you now, wow, when that goal went in, wow, sensational. But I did say, I've got to be honest, I still thought Leeds were going to go up, even after that game. I thought, United's won the battle, I just don't think they've got quite enough. I think Leeds would do it.
We'd had a couple of poor results. I can't remember where they came in relation to that Leeds game, whether they were before or after. But we'd had a couple of poor results, and it looked as if it were a little bit out of reach. And then results just went for us. And I know I was on holiday in Turkey, and I think we played a match, won it. And then I went to the pub. I think Leeds played Brentford, and we needed Brentford to do a job for us, and they did. And I think I upset a few Leeds fans in some pub in Marmaris. It's like, Jimmy, it's like, are you a Brentford fan? I'm like, no, I'm Sheffield United, mate.
I can remember that day well. I think 3:00 kickoff, you played Hull away, and I think you were 3-0 up at half time. Job done. I think it was if Brentford won, I think it kept Leeds 6 points behind with Sheffield United with 2 games left. With Sheffield United having a much better goal difference. So I can remember London Road just being absolutely heaving. So I remember I went out with a few friends and Sheffield United fans were singing at every opportunity. That was it. Sheffield United back in the Premier League. 3 seasons under Wilder. That's all it took.
Yeah, very successful era.
Unbelievable. So the first season back in the Premier League. First game, Crystal Palace at home. Did you go to that game?
Yeah. I don't think I missed a game that season. Well, no, I don't. Yeah, I don't think I missed a game that season. Yeah. It was again the nice sort of things of being back in the Premier League. The seeing the big teams come to the lane. Got put on FIFA. That was nice. Sheffield United, Bramall Lane on FIFA. Also, little things back in this. I didn't buy a sticker album this season. But yeah, what season? Well, yeah, the opening game away at Bournemouth where Billy Sharp scored and drew 1-1, and it looked like we would be competitive that season as opposed to getting battered.
Yeah, well, we certainly were. Top half finish, possibly in Europe as well.
Yeah, I think pre-COVID, we were in Europe, and then obviously when the season resumed, we dropped off a little bit. But yeah, valiant effort that season.
Yeah, there's possible rumours of Real Madrid coming to Bramall Lane next season. I mean, imagine that. I don't know if I got that high, but I mean, a European night at Bramall Lane, what a sight that would have been. But obviously, they did have a second season syndrome in the end, didn't they? Unfortunately, and they did go back down. And now they're in the Championship under the stewardship of Paul Heckingbottom and Stuart McCall. So, what were your thoughts for this season? What would make a good season this season for Sheffield United?
As in the season we just when they came in, or as in this upcoming season?
As in this season now.
I think, well, given the start to the season and the players we've got, and I think I'd like to think we'd be pushing automatic, but at least playoffs at minimum.
Yeah.
I think we brought in some
break your playoff hoodoo.
Possibly not, but hey, give it a go. Sure, we got to win one playoff final.
Could happen one day. Sunderland have broke their hoodoo. Doesn't seem to be very favourable to teams who play in red and white.
Yeah, well, I think the team that had the worst record was Forest. I think Forest have got as bad a playoff record as us, but obviously they got rid of theirs last season too. So yeah, I'd like to think we'll be up there competing.
Absolutely, and here's to a good season. So, aside from Sheffield United, then you do like your local non-league football. How did you get into non-league football then?
So when I was at university, I one of the freshers fairs at university, Sheffield FC were there, and they were like saying become a member. And I'd heard of Sheffield FC, obviously being the oldest football club in the world, and they were saying become a member, pay a tenner, we'll give you like 4 free tickets, come and see us. And I didn't realise that they play not far from where I live. So I thought, I'll do that. So I went a few times, used my free tickets, and realised, I quite enjoy coming here. So I kind of made a thing where if Blades were playing away and I weren't going, I'd have a look and see who Sheffield FC were playing. And I went and watched Sheffield FC for a number of years, but they're the only real non-league team I'd been and seen until about 2000 and probably 17, 18, when I decided, I'd not really been and seen any of the other local non-league teams, and then saw it was not non-league day in 2018, and I thought, I'll go and see somebody else. And I had to look what games were on, and I went and saw Staveley, and then since then I've just had real fun for going and watching non-league games. So been hitting a lot of the local teams, as you know, because I've met you at plenty of games around here.
Yeah, I remember first meeting you at Staveley. Not so long ago. I've met you at Dromfield, Clay Cross. I remember seeing you that night, that freezing cold night.
Oh yeah, the pitch was frozen, wasn't it? It was like you put your foot through it. It was like a sheet of ice.
It would have clicked a little bit. It was a white pitch. I'm thinking, how have they got this game on?
Daft, wasn't it? Yeah. So it was Woodbridge now when FA Bars came at Woodbridge Trophy or something like that.
Woodbridge Bridge, yeah. So I mean, I know you like your local non-league football mostly, like your teams like Dromfield, Sheffield FC. I think you've been to Hallam a few times, haven't you?
Yeah.
You're seeming to branch out a little bit more, though, aren't you? I think did you go on the Leicestershire Hop? I saw you at Birstall the other week, didn't you?
Yeah. So I'm not. I know some groundhoppers are in it for the ticks and visiting new grounds a lot. I mean, obviously you hit a lot of grounds yourself. Whereas I like to hit new grounds, but equally, I don't mind going to see it. Like, it's more for me. It's like if there's a game on a Tuesday or a Wednesday night and I've got nothing to do, it's like I'm quite happy to go to, I don't know, Maltby or I don't know, Armthorpe, somewhere like that, and watch a game. Which are obviously all teams local to us in Sheffield. And I'm not that fussed about it being a ground that I've not been to. As much as I do like seeing a new ground, and I'll have a little look and see where there are new grounds. But to me, as long as I'm going to see a game, and if I can get 2 games in, even better. So yeah, like for me to hit new grounds, I'm having to go to a place like Leicestershire, Nottinghamshire, head a bit further north to East and West Yorkshire.
Yep, fantastic. So, how many grams are you on now, Chris?
I'm on 134.
134. And do you have a favourite out of those 134? And be as biased as you like. I don't mind.
I see what I like about grounds. So, obviously, I'll discount Bramall Lane. Bramall Lane would be my default answer, but I'll discount Bramall Lane. In terms of actual, like, professional grounds, Dortmund is my favourite ground I've visited. That stadium is immense, absolutely immense. The crowd are immense. Just the whole experience of going to a game there, it's like a different level of football. Their fans are just hardcore.
Dortmund, wow. So, I mean, were you part of the wall at all, or did you just witness it as a spectacle?
I witnessed it. I was sat opposite the wall. I think it's difficult to get tickets in the wall, and because there's so many members there. I think I went to a cup game there. They played Mönchengladbach, and to see the wall from the opposite side, it's just epic. They didn't do one of their tifo things that when I was there, but just it's vast. I think they can fit 27,000 in that stand.
Wow.
I'm like, that's like nearly a Bramall Lane in one stand.
Isn't it really? What was it? Was it deafening as well?
Oh yeah, and yeah, when they sing "You'll Never Walk Alone" at the beginning as well, and that it was just epic. And when they score, their fan, it's just mental. Like that, it's like a whole different level to watching football. They're just so intense.
Yeah, it's one high up on my bucket list. I'd love to go there one day.
And then aside from that, I suppose thinking non-league, I quite like scenic grounds. I like grounds that have got nice scenery near them. So 3 that I've been to that have got nice scenery are Bacup Borough, who play in the, I think it's Bacup.
Bacup, I know what you mean.
In Northwest Counties, it's near Burnley. I went there on part of the Northwest Groundhop, and it's just like lovely, like mountainous scenery from like 3 sides of the ground. You can see like behind the stand. Similarly, Matlock Town, they've got lovely scenery around that, and Belper,
beautiful. Both of them beautiful.
Really scenic grounds to go and watch football in.
Beautiful. Yeah, Bacup I haven't done yet, but them other 2 absolutely beautiful places. But I'll give you another one actually that'd be good for you to visit. I don't know if you've been there yet. Chapel Town in Chapel End the Frith.
Right,
I'd make a note of that one because they were very friendly, very very friendly people who run that club. And me and Jack, the Mary Miller, went there, and we loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Is that
Oak Valley League?
Oak Valley League, yeah.
Beautiful ground that is. So I definitely recommend that one too if you like your scenic grounds. It's got a little stand as well, so even better. So I've asked you the best one. What's the worst one? Would you say, if you've got a worst one? Do you think?
I find it difficult to criticize a ground, but I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of cages. Like, I don't mind a 3G pitch. You can see why teams have installed them.
Yeah.
And if you've got a 3G pitch, like Staveley's a good example, but they've still got the original stands there. Ilkeston Town. I think Dinnington have just put one in.
Yeah.
But there's some that are just like, it feels like you're going to a golf centre to watch a game. Like, so I went to Studley, which is they did play in the Hellenic League on one of the ground hops, and it's like a 3G cage, bit of stand, but yeah, it just felt like you were watching a game at Goals or local five-a-side centre.
It's a great way of putting it, but it is a common theme. People that like cages and running tracks as well. Another one. Certain clubs been getting a bit of stick. I don't want to mention them again because I think they've had enough. But yeah, so we've had the best and worst grounds. What about fan bases then? Any particular fan base? I've touched on Dortmund. Is there any other fan bases that you love? And again, be as biased as you like.
I think just generally German football. I've been to about 6-7 grounds in Germany, and their fans just the experience. They tend to drink a bit more than British fans because it's a bit you can drink whilst you're watching the game. Yeah. So then they seem to be a bit more into it. But I went to Bochum, and their fans. I stood on their main terrace, and they sing songs for the entire duration of the game. So you got Bramall Lane, they'll sing Greasy Chipbutty, and stop, and then they might sing another song a few minutes later. Bochum just keep singing. They sing and sing, and they'll have a different chant. And when they finish singing one chant, they'll just merge into another chant, and they'll be singing the entire duration of the game. And obviously, I couldn't really sing along with them because I'm not particularly fluent in German, but I'm learning. But and it's similar. I went to Duisburg. I don't know how you pronounce it.
Yes, I know what you mean. Yeah, Duisburg. Yeah,
which is not far from Bochum actually. It's on the same train line. Similarly, they played Hoffenheim in a cup game, and again, their fans chanting 90 minutes, loving it. In terms of English teams, got a lot of time for the fans at Hallam. I think that since COVID, they've had a massive increase of fans, and you see them all stood in that, they call it the shed end at the far end, and their fans really vocal and really passionate. And it's nice to see where that club's going. They've done a lot of work there to try and improve their crowds, and obviously they got promoted last season. So I quite like what's going on at Hallam.
Fantastic, but I mean, in terms of Bochum especially, I mean, we have a trip. The junior club that I'm involved with at Wise would have an exchange trip, and it's our turn to go over to them next year. I think it's around April time, so I'll have to remember that about VFL Bochum, definitely.
Oh yeah, definitely get yourself in there and make sure you stand on terrace. Don't go and sit in one of the seats. Like the terrace is where it's at.
Definitely. So who would you say the worst you've come across fan bases wise? Do you think?
So I've been to Derby County 3 times.
Right.
Twice as a Sheffield United fan, and every time I've gone, their fans have just been rude and pushy and shovey, and like you're just trying to make your way to the train station or back away, and they're just rude. Then I went more recently as Hertha Berlin played them in a pre-season friendly this season, and I went in my Hertha Berlin shirt, and some very anti-German comments. Now, I'm guessing even if they'd have played Sheffield United, if Hertha Berlin played Sheffield United, I imagine some Sheffield United fans would make comments of a inappropriate nature about the war or stuff like that. And I just thought it was inappropriate. So it might not just be Derby fans, because I know they played Forest the following week and they might have had the same issue there. But I've never had a pleasant experience going to Derby. So,
I know, fair enough. So, is there any ground that you'd like to visit that you haven't already? Any high on the Turnip bucket list?
So I'm keen to complete a league. I've never completed a league. So in terms of local leagues, there's Northern Counties East Division 1. And I very nearly did it last season. And then they rearranged the league a bit, and a lot of the Mansfield area teams got reallocated to United Counties, which were all grounds that I'd done. And then they brought in some other teams. So I'm 4 away from completing Northern Counties East Div 1. So this season, my aim is to get to Beverley and Campion, which I think is in Bradford.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I've been Campion.
Horbury Town, which is a new team that's been promoted in, and Harrogate Railway.
Harrogate Railway. I still need Harrogate and Horbury and Beverley. Campion I've done though, but
I dropped nice that North Ferriby got promoted, and I still need to do them. So they're not in that league that I'm trying to complete. So
good ground, very good ground.
Yeah, I remember you saying last season. Did you go and see them and see Sheffield United on the same day?
Yeah, Hull Sheffield United, the early kickoff and then the North Derby on at 3. So I legged it to the train station and made it.
I remember you saying that, and I'm like, oh, I can't believe I totally missed that double header there. I could have seen United away and picked off a ground that I've not done yet. But yeah, in terms of nice new grounds, like other like more famous grounds, I'd like to go and see. In terms of big grounds, I've not seen Tottenham. I've not been to New Tottenham Ground. I've not been to Newcastle, and I'd quite like to go to Rangers and Celtic. I've not been to any games in Scotland, so Scotland's a whole untapped area that I need to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Wouldn't blame me at all there, mate. So how did you get the nickname Turnip Blade then?
I don't know. I literally don't know. I think I just put it in as like an email address, like when I was younger, and it just seems to have stuck. Like nobody ever referred to me as Turnip or anything. It's just it's just something that stuck. I don't know, like PlayStation username or something like that, and I just seem to have stuck using it.
Fair play. We get them all from somewhere, don't we? There's always a story behind every nickname. Right, so final question. Wrap it up. We asked this one to everybody. If you could sum up football in 3 words, what would it be and why? So 3 separate words or a 3-word phrase.
Oh, so I wrote it about groundhopping. I thought about groundhopping, and I put welcoming experience and travel, because I feel like groundhopping, you need, obviously it involves traveling to new grounds, seeing new cities, new places.
Yeah,
nice different experiences for football. Like Christ, I was at a game the other day where they had 3 goalkeepers in the first half.
Wow.
It was a game after the groundhop after I saw you. Keeper got sent off.
Barrow?
Yeah.
Barrow Town. Wow.
First keeper got injured. Well, he conceded one and then claimed to be injured. Then second one got sent off for getting involved in a fracas. But then my third word was welcoming, because I've found so many clubs that really like warm to you visiting them.
Oh, like, yeah, definitely.
They're very appreciative that you're putting your £5 or £10 or however much you're paying at these non-league clubs to go. Like, I remember first I went to Swallow Nest, Dronfield Town. Just you see them and they're like, "Oh, you're right," and they know me because they've seen me doing my daft selfie on Twitter. But like they go to the guys like, "Oh, you'll do it goes like that on Twitter." Yeah, that's me. Yeah. So yeah, really welcoming. Like fans, if you've never been to a non-league game before, like try it, because it's a cheaper alternative to watching league football, and the clubs are really appreciative of you being there.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't sum it up better myself, mate. So welcoming,
new experiences, and then just travel.
Fantastic, mate. Great job. But Chris, thank you for coming on, mate. It's been a great show. It's finally good to get it ticked off.
Yeah, no worries.
Absolutely, he's been a good guest, and I'm sure we'll cross paths again soon, very soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's plenty of ones in Northern Counties that we need. I'm sure I'll see it at some of them.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, we'll do.
Fantastic. This has been the FANA Fan Podcast. We'll see you next time.